What is up, everyone? This is SwordKing090 and this is going to be Pixelmon episode 138. So, this is going to be the server called Envyblock.org. If you'd like to join us, everything will be linked in the description below that you'll be able to join us. Just respect the rules and moderators, the staff, everybody else on the server, and as well as that, do not x-ray, do not grief, do not steal, and what was the other thing? Do not raid. Okay. I believe that was all the rules pretty much, and also use some common sense. But in any case, this is the Envyblock.org server, so feel free to join us. We have the active staff and active people, and everyone's having a great time. Now, moving on. Last episode I talked about trying to test out to see whether or not if I could actually make 60 frames per second for a video. Hopefully that is working, because I'm still continuing on with the whole binge recording spree. So you'll know if I actually did it correctly. And I really hope that everything is done correctly, fingers crossed. But I really want to talk about the whole aspect of 30 frames versus 60 frames per second, because for a while now, I did not notice anything. I did not notice a difference between the two. And it's probably because I've been actually just looking at 30 frames per second all my life with the HD TV, and I soon realized that a lot of games that I play are not in 60 frames per second, because when I look at my recordings on the console with the HD PVR, it's able to actually record in 60 frames per second, but that's only if the game itself is 60 frames per second. Either that, or I have yet to actually do the correct settings on it. I changed some of the settings on the Xbox and looked into the settings of my HD PVR, but when I actually do record, I still get the 29.97 frames per second. So I've yet to actually get the 60 frames per second that I want, and I recently found out that with the PC, I'm recording in 60 frames per second, so this is why I actually wanted to test it out. And I've actually looked at videos with 60 frames per second, and I gotta say, it's a little bit smoother from what I've seen between the two. But again, it took me a long time to actually realize it. Some people may not even notice the difference, some people may notice the difference. It really depends on how your eyes are or how you perceive the entire 60 frames per second aspect. Some people actually try to go for 120 frames per second or 180, depending on how powerful the computer is. But at that point, it's like there's also a threshold of how many frames per second we could actually see. But in any case, it's just nothing like you would ever see in real life type of deal. Especially when you look at the television and their HDness, and they always actually advertise 4K resolution or 1080p resolution. My god, that's actually really too smooth. Honestly, I'm not quite used to it. Whenever I see a movie in like the Blu-ray with that 60 frames per second, everything just looks too smooth, honestly. It's just weird how that works. I have no idea, but it's like if I were to actually watch DVDs like that for a long time, and then when I look at the other ones, then I could possibly complain of how slow it looks now. But right now, I'm complaining of how smooth it looks. It's just so fluid and everything like that. It just kind of bothers me just a tad bit, because I don't have that TV. I'm used to watching everything I see on my TV, because I don't even have the set box to where it's like I have that 60 frames per second or 1080p type of channels that a lot of people have with their HD TVs. A lot of people don't even know that they're not even watching in 1080p, or they're watching all that other good gloriness that comes out of there, because they don't have their own actual set box right there that allows them to see channels in 1080p and HD and all that good stuff. So it costs a little bit more money to get that, but if you just have an HD TV by itself and nothing else with it, then it's just not going to work. The best you could actually get out of it is actually going onto your console and playing games in 60 frames per second. Then you will see the true definition out of it, but with television shows, if you have basic cable, you're not going to see most out of it. Well, but like I said, if I were to actually go into the whole 60 frames per second thing, I want to be able to actually record all my videos with that. So far I have an Xbox 360, I have yet to actually get an Xbox One or a PS4 or anything like that. So I have no idea what 60 frames per second actually truly looks like. But once it happens, and once I'm able to record in 60 frames per second, then it's probably going to be the norm that I'm going to stick with it. But until then, I can only record in 30 frames per second on my console and 60 frames on my computer, which is understandable anyways. But yep, it sucks. It really sucks. Unless if I'm doing something wrong with my Xbox 360. If so, let me know in the comment section below of how I could actually make it better and make all the games I could actually play in 60 frames per second. I tried actually going into settings. I try to, like, it goes from HD TV from standard to intermediate, and then you have expanded. I chose expanded. I chose a setting coloration of the TV to the RGYBR type of deal, and then I went onto the thing itself. I changed it from, of course, it was back then, it was at 360p. Now I changed it to 1080 because of the fact of the matter is I'm using an HDMI cable. But I still am recording in 30 frames per second, so I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. I'm probably gonna have to look it up, or you guys could tell me in the comment section below. So if I could work with that, I'll be very happy. I want to try out Minecraft on the Xbox 360 and 60 frames per second if that's a possible thing. If not, at least with the Xbox One, that'll be a possibility. But if I have a question to ask you guys, do you notice a true difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second? Be honest with me, because it took me a long time to actually see the difference. I can see how a little bit more smooth it is, but I'm still fine actually watching videos in 360p or 480p because it doesn't really matter to me just as long as I'm able to see it. It's better than watching it in 144p because that's how kind of it was back then, like 7-8 years ago on YouTube. Everything was 240p, and it's kind of funny how people actually go back to those videos and complain about the quality of the videos, and then other people like saying, dude, this video is 8 years old. 240p, it was the standard back then, and even then for some of the videos it looked absolutely fantastic, but then for some other videos it's just a little bit of blocky pixelations. But what we had back then is what we got, and now that we're in the technology right now, we're able to actually upload videos in 4K for crying out loud. So it's kind of funny how advanced technology has actually become over the years, that it's easily accessible even on our phones. Some phones could actually record in 4K for crying out loud, and other medias could actually do that as well. So we're going to go to the age of 4K resolution to being the norm, and then there's going to be other companies that are going to develop even higher resolution. What comes after 4K? I don't even know. I don't think it's going to be 8K because that's going to be funny. Then it's going to go to 16K, then 32K, then 64K, 128K. It'd just be like literally looking at it from a real life perspective. I would like to know what type of resolution that we see today versus of what resolution that we see on the actual screen. That'd be kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure Vsauce has already made a video about that because they've actually made a video about how many frames per second do we see or what resolution that we actually see. I'm not too sure which one of which, but I'm gonna have to actually go back to it and see if they actually talked about this. But either case, it would be interesting to see the videos now in 60p, or sorry, like 720p, 60 frames per second. That would be kind of cool, because then it'll probably look better with the videos, and maybe people will actually appreciate that. If they can't actually watch it in there, at least they could actually resort back to 480p, which is not going to be any difference from watching it at 360p. Not much you could really do with Minecraft, unless if I were to get Optifine and as well as shaders, because that's when the real difference is going to be shown. But then it's going to be more resource intensive or extensive on my PC as well, especially with DxTory recording everything on top of all of that. So simple, it's the best at times, really it is. That's all I can tell you guys. Simplicity could be the best thing you could actually do for a video. I'm just flying overhead because I have no idea what I'm going to do, especially when I'm trying to hatch all the 5 eggs that are in my inventory right now, or whatever, in my party slot. But that is all I could really say for the matter, because otherwise I'll be repeating myself. So if future videos I could actually continue doing 60 frames, I'll be very happy about that, because at least I tried, and at least I actually try to make better content or better quality for you guys. But until then, this is going to be the end of the video, so if you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe, because I upload videos every single day except for Sundays, because that's going to be my day of rest. All my social media is down in the description below, so if you'd like to contact me, you may do that. And as well as that, this is a server called Envyblock.org, so if you'd like to join us, then you can talk to me on the server right then and there. But keep in mind, if I am busy with something, it's because I'm not trying to ignore you or anything like that. It's because I'm actually busy, either doing editing, filming, something else along the mix. So yeah, apologize if I don't respond right away, or if I don't respond halfway down the conversation, because there's always something I gotta do on the server, or there's something I gotta do in real life. But until then, this is gonna be the end of the video. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Sorkin090, and as always, I will see you in the next video.